Hello everybody, welcome to this course. We're going to be looking at basically values in education. Now the four questions are: what are actually values and beliefs? How do they affect the education of our students? Who are the people whose values and beliefs affect the education of our students? And what happens if these values and beliefs are conflicting? Today I'm going to tell you a story. It's a story of three teachers, Mrs. X, Mrs. Y, and Mrs. Z. They all teach different sections of the same grade in the primary school, grade 4. Mrs. X has excellent handwriting. Her blackboard work is beautifully organized and presented. Since she draws beautifully, it always has drawings and illustrations which make it look even prettier. Mrs. X spends a lot of time teaching her students handwriting with correct letter formations and has given them a particular format to present their work. She encourages them to supplement their ideas and written work with pictures wherever possible and believes that well-presented work always has an edge over badly presented work with better ideas. She is very organized and likes organized classrooms with children sitting quietly and focusing on their work. Mrs. Y is very creative. She loves to experiment with different ideas and doesn't really care about presentation formats. She likes using charts, diagrams, and webs to show understanding and doesn't care how good the handwriting is. Her class is always very chirpy, with children sitting in groups and discussing ideas. Mrs. Z is very technology savvy. She has a smart board in her classroom and she loves working with the children on it. She's very good with her computing and research skills. Her students use the iPad for everything and all their assignments are typed. They are encouraged to do a lot of extra research and their assignments have web links showing at the end. Her classes are always buzzing with discussions and children normally come to present their work on the smart board. On Mondays, all three sections have to hand over a homework assignment on the same topic that matches the objectives of the school curriculum. This time, all three sections were asked to do the same assignment, which was a piece of creative writing on my chair. What do you think happened? Mrs. X's class produced a beautifully handwritten assignment in a particular handwriting script, strewn with pictures of a chair. There were pictures instead of words sometimes. The assignments were all in the same format on double-lined paper. Names in the right-hand corner, a margin drawn on the left, and the heading in the top middle. The students had written on a chair that everybody sits on. Mrs. Y's class assignments were very interesting indeed. Not only had the students looked at chairs to sit on, some of them had written on a very different meaning of the word chair of a board. The assignments varied not only in ideas but also in the derivation of meaning. The presentation varied too. Some wrote on plain paper, some on lined sheets. Some had drawings, some didn't. The handwriting of the students left much to be desired and in some cases was illegible. Mrs. Z's class assignments, can you guess? Yes, they weren't on any kind of paper. They were all typed, dealt with the topic in greater depth, and were presented through their iPads on computers on Mrs. Y's smartboard. They varied in research and in presentation, but all of them were rich in information. However, when Mrs. Y asked her students to write their names on a sheet of paper to show that their work had been seen, you could see that her students' handwriting was all over the place. So, what do we conclude from this? First of all, how were the assignments different? On a table, list the strengths of all the assignments. So what you need to do is make 3 columns, say assignment 1, assignment 2, assignment 3, Mrs. X, Mrs. Y, Mrs. Z, and write the strengths of each assignment. Number 2, why were these assignments different? What was the reason? Why did the same assignment from 3 different sections turn out to be so different? Question 3. Which teacher would be more relevant in today's classroom? Could you write a profile for your ideal teacher for today? Relevant in today's environment. Homework. Write your reflections on today's video in your online journal, and do the quiz and read the article given at the end of your handbook for today's lesson. Goodbye. Hope to see you next time.